against Dignitas, and it will be Dignitas with the first pick again this time around.
Zeus getting taken off the table, surprisingly enough, that normally when you're first pick, you want to develop some strategies around your mid laner. We've seen a lot of teams do it, specifically Energy, where they cater around Yaman, and Team Dignitas could do the same here if they wanted to for Zeros, but he's very comfortable with a lot of unconventional gods, I would say.
I would say Zeros is starting to feel what Lobster felt like playing with Cuvo and Trix for the longest time there. Like, he didn't shine bright like a diamond, but what he did do is get chased around the map a lot of the time and have to reposition himself and look after himself.
Somebody has to pull that short straw out of the bunch, and that unfortunately is going to be the mid laner here from Team Dignitas. Fafnir, first pick from Team Dignitas.
Over Sylvanas.
Yeah, Sylvanas was open. There's just a lot of options.
Yeah, over Sylvanas is very interesting to me, but we'll see what happens with that Fafnir now. The Cabrakan ban by Line Guard, I guess they were worried about Dignitas doing that to them. Obviously, I got it wrong before because I said Dignitas first pick again. It was Line Guard last game who had first pick, but they're going to get the Poseidon for themselves this time round. And I felt like for RCX, Cabrakan wasn't bad at all that game. It was a good Cabrakan performance. He just didn't really have follow-up from his team. He got the CC off. He absorbed a lot of damage too.
He also put himself and his team in a bad position whenever Variety took advantage of the ultimates from that Cabrakan, putting himself in an immobile position during the Tremors. It was an easy blink fearless combination, but now Team Dignitas getting the Fafnir and the Ratatasker. Normally, a lot of hunters will like to go for this late game style now in Season 4, with crit being less efficient with the nerfs to the Poison Star. So this is why we see Apollo being locked in with Fafnir, setting him up for more attack speed.
Both teams showing a little bit more depth of their god pools as well with this one. Obviously, all the picks have pretty much switched up from last game in terms of what they picked there. Sylvanas has been locked in for Lion Guard now, though. I like the fact that they held onto that Sylvanas pick until this moment, just because they didn't have to draft a Guardian knowing Fafnir was already taken.
They're now going to be able to ban away some mids, potentially, from Team Dignitas, but it's going to be the Aphrodite. Normally, when you pick up Sylvanas this late in the draft, you're trying to shut down a lot of burst magey mids because you don't want to have your Guardian get locked down too early in the draft, but I like them to go for these comfort bands, Aphrodite and Tyr, taken away from Team Dignitas.
It kind of spells to me that they want Ra to be picked for Dignitas here, making sure that Zeros can't have that Aphrodite. I know Zeros likes to play the Aphrodite, the supportive style, but he can play a Ra as well, a pretty mean one if he goes through.
I've seen him play Giannis very effectively. He could look to do that. They have global pressure with Ratatasker and Apollo. Why not add a third one with the Giannis? Oh, it's going to be new, huh?
More defensive, safer option, especially against the likes of Poseidon and Susana, who are going to be looking for the all-in potential against him. And as we saw last game, Frostiak really paid a lot of attention to Zeros in that game. If he does the same thing here, well, Nuwa can use her ultimate and buy herself a few more seconds.
It makes a little sense as to why the Nuwa over the Giannis, because during the Giannis portal, Susno can easily find the jet stream, connect onto the Giannis, and then chase him through the portal if you wanted to, but Nuwa going into the sky is going to buy herself a little bit more time.
I won't see Variety's Ymir for a little while in the solo lane, but it looks like we're going to be seeing that in this game, as the Ymir has now just been drafted in as well for the side of Team Dignitas. On paper, Tolly, how are we feeling about this
I like the control from Team Dignitas with Variety on this Ymir, the global pressure with Ratatasker and Apollo. It should go the way of Team Dignitas. Looking at Line Guard's draft, though, they have a lot of control here between Sylvanas, Fenrir, Zeus, and the question is, how effective is Shadow Nightmare going to be on this Poseidon?
Let's go in and see how this one will break out. It is going to be Variety on the Ymir, which I expected, and Ducky on the Fenrir in solo lane up against that Ymir. How's that matchup, Tolly? You know a little bit more about solo than me, for sure.
Well, it's pretty easy for the Ymir. Obviously, you can freeze out the Brutalize, but what Ducky's trying to really do is just to constantly poke out the Ymir with his Unchained. Every single time Variety's looking for the carpet, he's going to be an easy sitting duck. Yeah,
so he's going to jump at him every single time.
Do damage. And that's rinse and repeat, and which is why we see Variety pick up the mark of the Vanguard, trying to negate a lot of that damage. 10 physical protection and 5 damage off of every source.
Oh, hammer time in mid lane for Shadow Nightmare. I don't think he really liked what he heard from it, that's for sure. As Trixan got a lot of free poke off with Zeros, and Shadow Nightmare won't want to go back to base if he can help it, especially with a minion wave coming in. But it is going to make him at least use one potion for now, and then a second one probably soon after.
Huge advantage for Team Dignitas. The minions have barely even touched each other in the middle. Trixtank and Zeros able to really outclear Shadow Nightmare and Frostiak as a result. With those potions down, once the buffs start taking off the table, Shadow Nightmare's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Well, this pressure in mid lane for Dignitas has meant that Arkill was left alone on the left-hand side there. His purple buff is about to be stolen for Lion Guard there. Frezzy Frezzy and Flurry Q going to be able to combine to pick that one up as well. But we should see Arkell hit level 2 because he did take the babies away. Right hand side, though, same sort of story as Dignitas will steal away a blue.
We're seeing more and more invades out of Lion Guard. I like the idea and the mindset to be this aggressive. Take advantage of the fact that obviously the support is not being catered towards the Hunter, but on the flip side, Dignitas taking away the blue and the speed. Cuvo Fred doing a good job controlling with variety, and that's what you really want to do with a Guardian. Set himself up in the early game.
Well, it's very funny to see this because you can see a mirror across the map. If you're going to give up stuff on the left-hand side, the enemy team's going to aggress on the right-hand side. You've got to make the trade-offs from Frostyak here, looking to invade more on the left. The back copy is very useful. The Oracle's being contested by both teams right now, though, and it's going to be an even split by the looks of it, as I do not see any glow of red or blue in the sky around the goal period.
Fortunately for Frostyak, he wanted to go behind those two members from Team Dignitas and not really able to find that position. He's going to regroup with the rest of his team for that red buff. Arkell just casually farming away, looking at his build. He's going to be building into the boots, while Flurry Q, yet again, going for more of an ability-based build with rushing the Transcendence onto this Medusa.
You see, with Medusa as well, she's ability-based, but not as much so as Aneath is. So Transcendence and Fatalis works a little bit stronger in her, I'd say, than Aneath.
Especially with the passive from the Medusa, having 50% reduced movement speed while backstrafing, no movement speed penalty while side strafing. So it makes a little bit more sense if you wanted to go for more attack speed base with the Fatalis. That's a good idea to go for on Medusa.
Well, keep it on the right-hand side there, because you can see Shadow Nightmares hovering around near those elementals, maybe thinking about a rotation towards Variety, who's got a 2-level lead over Ducky in this lane now. And when Ymir's ahead in a lane, it's very difficult to deal with him. Talking about a lead in the mid, Shadow Nightmare is going to fall down with 3 men collapsing onto him. Lion Guard were just not in position to defend.
Frostyak making the rotation with Frezzy. Nice little pull, getting pulled into the tower, taking the tower shot. Not too much follow-up, still only level 4 is Frezzy and Frostyak. That would have been a nice play if Frezzy was level 5, because after the pull, that would have been the Wrath of Terror. We would have seen potentially the Typhoon, but Team Dignitas with a nice, comfortable 800 gold lead and a huge experience lead.
Well, in the mid lane, Frezzy's just walked too far forward again on his Sylvanas, and Cuvo Fred exploited that with the ultimate coming out as well. Nice little play from Trix and Zero to join in, and this trio is doing good things right now. As on the left-hand side, we've got a bit of a man fight going on, as Arkell took a trade 5v4 there. He did get Flurry Q's ultimate, though.
It's a nice idea for Medusa to be able to use that ultimate, even if you're not going to connect on it direct, because you're still going to slow the enemy Hunter, as well as do 50% of the damage you normally would. So you're still going to be able to win the poke trade, and at this point, before Arkell's level 5, you might as well throw that out there before that global presence comes online. You want to make sure that you can potentially out-rotate this Apollo.
Ducky could be in trouble on the right-hand side right now, as he did go aggressive in the wave, and immediately Cuvo turned up. He will be picked up by Ragnarok. The wall missed from actual Variety there, and I think Variety may have cost Cuvo his life. No, it's not to be, as Variety will clean it up with the help of Zeros and the biggest skill shot ultimate in the game.
Nice job from all of Team Dignitas, synergizing to not only make sure they find the kill, but not sacrificing Cuvo's life there. It's really risky play out of Ducky to be, even if he got that kill, he was guaranteed dead from Variety. But wanting to find some kind of snowball here, that's going to result in Variety having this 2-level advantage. And this is a dream position for a Guardian in the solo lane for Variety.
Yeah, indeed, because especially when you get ahead as a Ymir as well, those basics just swing so hard, Totally, that people don't recognize how much it's going to do until it hits you and you're like, oh, wow, this is terrible.
That Frostbite passive, whenever you land an ability with Ymir, you get 100% increased in-hand damage as well as reduced incoming damage. So that's going to be very important for Variety to continue to win this 1v1 exchange against Ducky. Everything about Ymir's kit just counters Ducky.
Up, Cuvo's down, looking at Ducky again. The wall is perfectly placed as the freeze as well. Cuvo Fred gets credit for the kill, catching him one more time on the right-hand side. Ducky has been abandoned by his team right now, but Frostyak may be trying to make something happen now, but it's 2-level lead for Variety he's up against.
Variety proxied the wave. He's the chat stream. The Typhoon is going to be able to knock up Variety, taking about 3 tower shots, 4 now with that pull. The 5th one's going to hit onto Cuvo Fred instead.
The jump was good, Frosty, but no, Cuvo is growing greedy.
Where's
good change
the
of mind.
Nuwa does not have ultimate available for Zeros, unfortunately. Not able to clean up Frosty, but they did force out the beads out of the Susanoo jungle here. Comes the rotation from Trix saying he wants to be able to get this. He might dive this.
This is just People
He's gonna
running in
dive.
one after the other looking to steal it away. He's gonna get it. Oh! Get outplayed, Tricks. Get outplayed.
Oh, the ultimate's gonna buy a little bit of time, but Zeros actually... Okay, so Tricksang sacrificed his life to be able to buy time for Zeros' ultimate cooldown.
No, he didn't. Totally. Don't save Tricksang there.
It was calculated,
Tricksang
man.
was greedy as all hell. He didn't know Nuwazo was coming down. He's like, I can get it. I can get it. I can get it. I can't get it. I can't get it. I can't. No, stop. So he trades 1 for 1.
Trust in his teammates, but that 1-for-1 trade, you're trading a level 6 Fafnir for a level 7 Susanoo. This is going to favor Team Dignitas every single time.
Do you reckon though? Because that gets Ducky at least a bit of experience for getting a kill where he was really struggling in that lane.
That's true. It does help out Ducky getting back into the game a little bit, but the Fenrir already at this point is almost out of the game anyway. Cubofred's been doing a good job shutting down this Fenrir. 2-level disadvantage on the side of the Soul Laner.
Well, Trick's going to throw the hammer at Shadow Nightmare, but he's got no follow-up with him, really. He is proccing his Taloria passive by doing that, though, so it's always wise to just keep throwing out those hammers. It's a nice bit of poke, slows the mobility
Which
down.
is why his net worth is actually almost the highest in the game. Trickstang doing a good job rotating, and that was another reason why he dove that tower. He wanted to get that Taloria.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Stop saving him.
Calculated,
That's
man.
What, you're just a former player, man. That's what you all do. You all stick together and like not admit when you've messed up.
I respect
that. It's
like
like
kind of
scrims,
play.
man. Everyone wins scrims, but then when you hear about it after the fact, they didn't win scrims at all.
Variety doing a good job controlling the Soul Lane yet again. A lot of damage during the Brutalize. Coming out one more in hand with that Frostbite passive. Gonna find the solo kill. Variety 3 levels ahead. Gold Fury was also taken by Team Dignitas.
I'm surprised by that on the right-hand side too, because I think Ducky could have got out. He was channeling the Brutalize. If he would have cancelled it the moment he started channeling his ult, he wouldn't have taken as much damage, and he would have been able to get away.
Or he could have just used the Brutalize to get away from the range of that ultimate. Frezzy gonna find a double knockup at the landing of Cubofred with Zeros, finding the kill onto Frezzy. Frostiak right around the corner, getting a pull in Cubofred, not really wanting to commit any further than that.
Speed buff on the right-hand side being taken by Shadow Nightmare right now, looking to defend that one as Variety has already taken the tier 1 tower down now as we tune in the duo lane. Flurry Q getting a bit aggressive here up against Arkil. I like the use of beads there just to make sure he could get away, because he does apply a slow if he's facing away as well.
Even though that there's a Warrior Tabby on the side of Arkil, but hold that thought, Zero's going to get pulled in, forced to go into the sky, buying a little bit of time, but there's nobody in position to really save him. That's going to be a free kill coming out of Lion Guard. Not much pressure, though, to be able to really take too much off the map. Oracles is up if Lion Guard elect to go for it.
Just a little bit too far forward there, Zeros. He was trying to force that tier 1 tower to fall down with his clay minions and the minion wave he had with him, but he didn't have enough damage in his kit alone to really do it, and it bought Lion Guard a small window there. We've now been able to control the Gold Fury area for extra vision on that left-hand side for the time.
It's so easy for Nuwa to be able to siege the towers at this point. Before, Clay Golems still have the elimination of the backdoor protections in this patch, so you're able to really get this tower low, which is why we see that tier 1 mid tower being about 10% health or so. Zero's getting a little bit greedy, too much for that 500 gold, just riding off the high that they got from the Gold Fury.
Troll versus Troll. Who will out-troll the other Troll? Find out as Frezzy gets ganked from behind without realizing it.
Variety around the corner, but he has other intentions. He's going to go into Shadow Nightmare, channeling the ultimate, doing a lot of damage, but Zero's not having the ultimate. Frezzy going to get stunned into place. Cubofred waiting to land, going to find nobody, because a great jump up and down from Ducky.
Troll versus Troll. Who will win? Find out in the great game of support who's out of position versus support who's out of position. The winner of that one was Tricksang. If you didn't realize, Frezzy fell down again, and now they lose a tier 1 tower in mid. They're going to lose a tier 2 tower in mid on the left-hand side. They're trying to catch Arkil here and answer back with some gold of this tier 1 tower, but it's not going to be as worthwhile as those two they got in the mid lane.
Arkil has to give up that tier 1 tower. His purification beads is still on cooldown, but it's taken a long time to get this tier 1 tower. Not really electing to rotate onto this, instead looking like they were positioning around the Fire Giant, but they were around 30 seconds too early. Both the Portal Demon and Fire Giant don't spawn until the 10-minute mark.
Well, the Elemental's going to go down for the final time the way of Variety, who's now level 13 to Ducky's level 9 in this game. 2-level lead in the jungle as well for Cubofred. Mid laners are even at the moment, which shows you that the mid laners are still doing mid laner things for the most part, very similar to Season 3, but there is definitely advantages right now for Dignitas.
And Zero's just now finishing off his shoes of the Magi. He really wanted to do a little bit of a more interesting style in his build, but now he has the mobility, which is why he had that earlier death, not being able to escape. He really wanted to have that Pythagram's piece, so that way he'd be able to synergize even better with Variety.
Purple buff going to go down as well and given over to Trixank, who's liking that one. Zero's going to start the Portal Demon as 4 members of Lion Guard are in the area too, looking to potentially contest this one. Could be a tricky situation. Those clay minions are actually keeping it aggroed for the time being, which slows down the reset and how quickly it regens.
It's a bait though, because if Lion Guard bite and go for the Portal Demon, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. We see the stun coming onto Frostek from Trixank, looking to try to get somebody out of position.
It's mainly for the speed buff,
onto Ducky.
Taking a lot of pressure there as well, but he's a little bit tankier than he was before, a little bit more magical resistance online. Sadly though, not even one full item completed after his boots right now. That wall from Variety will slow them down getting through that option for a second, and the Portal Demon will fall.
Frostek taking a lot of damage from this level 10 Fafnir. With the Portal Demon onto Team Dignitas, they could potentially look to rotate really heavily. Flurry Q though really feeling himself as he dashes aggressively.
In the sky, looking for a group up, finds 2. Frosty knocked up, spin to win. Cubo cleans him up, and next he turns to Shadow Nightmare and gets him 2. Double kill to the jungler from Dignitas.
Where did Lion Guard go? 3 members dead. Arkel is going to be casually split pushing the left-hand side as the rest of his team is going to be on that Fire Giant. Only Ducky right around the corner, not electing to really want to commit to this. I'm not even sure if he knows.
Totally, this game's got out of hand. And it got out of hand from the... Whenever it said Troll versus Troll in the mid lane, I had a feeling it was going to go this way by how it's looking now, but this is crazy. 11.5 minutes in, they get a Fire Giant. The gold lead is getting ridiculous right now. No one's doing anything on the side of Lion Guard.
Arkel, though, he's in the ultimate. He was afraid that there was a bit more of a pressure coming on the side of Flurry Q, not electing to really do anything there, but 5 members with Fire Giant from Team Dignitas. The question is, where do they go from here? Their siege potential is really good here, considering the fact that they have the clay golems from Zeros able to eliminate backdoor protections, as well as Trixting that during his dragon form finding the coerce, amplifying the attack speed of both Arkel to get more audacity stacks, as well as Zeros to be able to consistently stack his passive to find that root on the 5th hit.
Well, Variety rotates to mid lane there just to slow down Lion Guard from even coming out of their own base, has allowed Dignitas to get the Gold Fury. Now they're going to siege up the left-hand side here, looking for this tier 1 and tier 2 tower as well.
And something that Variety does really successfully on his Ymir is he constantly walls off minions to be able to delay it from entering the wave tier 2 or Phoenix Tower. And that's going to... Variety, though, he's going to get pulled down into this tier 2
About
tower.
time they go aggressive onto him, but Variety's pretty tanky right now. Takes a couple of ultimates to the face, will fall down. Tier 1 goes down, but in mid lane, what's going on there? Cubo Fred has wrapped around the back of Shadow Nightmare and trading with Shadow now in the mid lane as this goes on. Kraken forced from Shadow Nightmare as Cubo now going to collapse and Zero's credit for the kill. Meanwhile, left-hand side is Ducky in trouble. Ducky's about to fall down as well. He gets picked up by Arkel. Trixank may want to go aggressive a little bit more, but he is the tank of the team here. So with the clay minions though, backdoor protections removed, tier 2 tower falls as well.
Typhoon found 2 members, but it wasn't enough to save the life out of Ducky. Shadow Nightmare taking a spill in the middle lane to Cubo Fred. This is something that Cubo Fred really looks to do. It tries to isolate people, especially playing this Ratatasker. It's just so easy. And look at what the clay golems were able to do. It sets up Arkel for so much damage. That Phoenix was at 50% health before the minions even got there.
Well, Frostek tried to get fancy and go aggressive on Arkel, and Arkel mezzed him in place and allowed the hammer to his head as he tried to run away. Another kill the way of Dignitas, and now they're looking to beat down Lion Guard's middle Phoenix as well.
They still have Fire Giant for about 1 minute and 50 seconds. They're using the golems rather effectively. Arkel is just shredding and melting this middle Phoenix. 2 Phoenixes down from Lion Guard. Team Dignitas 14 minutes in. They're up 15,000 gold.
Over 1,000 gold a minute right now, especially when this tier 2 tower goes, it's going to go even crazier. And 1 more Phoenix remains. There's no sign of letting up just yet. They could look for this Phoenix if they choose. I guess with the Fire Giant, why not?
Absolutely. They have so much control with Variety being able to cut off the escape and the entrance from Lion Guard to be able to get even in position, cutting off the left. Everyone from Lion Guard has to flood in the right if they actually want to defend, and all the abilities from Team Dignitas would just be thrown in that right side direction.
So Lion Guard get what they wanted, and you can see the ultimate used by Zeros there, just for extra player damage to make himself get a little bit higher.
It's the vision. They wanted to make sure that Lion Guard wasn't going to chase them down. down. No lazy backing coming from Team Dignitas.
No, that was Cuvo going, Zeros, look at your player damage, noob. I'm beating you. You're supposed to be Noir. And he's like, oh, really? Well, in that case, I'm just going to ult on cooldown to make sure I stay top of the charts.
Hey, if you got it, flex it. That's exactly what Zeros is doing. He has the Obsidian Shard finished. He's working on the Rod of Tahuti as well if this game does progress any further. But with Fire Giant still for 30 seconds on Team Dignitas, I wouldn't be surprised if with all three Phoenixes down, they still waited out a little bit to get the next Fire Giant before they really close out the game, getting at least a Frenzied Ritual or two, and then close out the game in that Tanner room.
It's a crazy game when you look at the actual levels of the people and realize that all three Phoenixes are down of Lion Guard right now. People complain about matchmaking. I'm complaining about matchmaking right now in this one because it's been a full stomp.
Ducky has just been getting abused this whole game. Cubo Fred is just stalking his prey. Baited out the Ragnarok, but he's going to disengage as well. Just going to sit with his team for a little bit longer. Fire Giant respawning in 1 minute. Everyone from Lion Guard has to sit in their base and defend all three lanes from these fire minions.
And at the moment, Dignitas not really interested in sieging around the Fire Giant. It's not spawned yet, so why not just keep pushing the waves? Look for picks like this in the mid lane.
Frezzy's going to get stunned out. Nice little CC immunity with the Wrath of Terror, but he gets walled off, forced into the meditation. Landing down is Arkle, cracking onto 3, but a nice egg is going to buy Arkle a lot of time with a 5-on-4 advantage. Frezzy respawning in 20 seconds. This could be all she wrote here for Lion Guard.
It looks like it could be the case. 5 minions from every single lane pouring in. Tricks are going to march straight in and all in place of the Titan. There's not a whole lot I think Lion Guard can do as Ducky's already dead, and that's now a 5v3. The Titan will come into play and help it, but the Titan's defenses have already been shredded by all the Phoenixes being down. Dignitas take game 2 in less than 7